Hello and welcome to another episode of me painting again. Oh yeah. So recently I found some liquid white and I was looking through some bags of stuff. So I was diving around looking for some more canvases and I found some liquid white and I thought, bit of liquid white, maybe I should do a painting. And then I dug out my old Bob Ross gear and thought, why not? So here we go, let's have a look at what I did. So I covered the entire canvas with a very thin, even coat of liquid white first, and it is really thin. I think the one thing you learn when you do this technique, the first thing you learn, is how to put the mediums on. So if you put your liquid white on the canvas, make sure it's really, really thin. So thin that when you touch your canvas, you can see your fingerprint. It really is thin. Can't say that enough, actually. So then I tapped into a little bit of phthalo blue and then started at the top and working down using little crisscross strokes, just dancing a nice blue sky. Phthalo blue is such a strong colour though, you only need a little bit. I've made mistakes before where I've put a bit too much on my brush and then my whole painting is like a really strong blue. I'll have to apologise for my shoulder and unshaven face in the way a lot of the time. But hopefully this will give you an idea of, if you're wondering, how you do it, this will give you an idea of how to do it. So for the water, you put in some flat strokes, but remember to tap your bristles in the paint, otherwise you get streaks like I've got there. And I was like, oh no, something's gone wrong. So yeah, you just, it's easy to fix though. I usually just wipe my brush on a paper towel or on the beater rack, and then you can just pull it out. There we go. I was just going over the whole thing. This is really another attempt at painting a mountain. If you've seen my mountain full lesson, I thought I would have another go. It's been a while since I've done this technique of painting, and I caught an episode of Bob Ross, and that was it. I'm hooked. You watch Bob do it and you think, oh God, I wish I could do something like that. So you've got to have a go. I had to. So I'm just knocking out all the brush strokes with a clean-ish dry brush. Just crisscross strokes all the way across to blend it, and then it does get rid of the brush strokes mostly. Especially when you're using light pressure when you're doing that. Don't want to use too heavy pressure. I'm looking to see if the camera's on. Yeah, so it's nice and smooth actually. The liquid white, make sure you've got it covered the entire canvas. It just makes it easier for this bit. And you get those automatic things like the blue at the top is quite dark-ish. And then it gets lighter towards the horizon. It's pretty simple. So then I decided I need to do some clouds. So I didn't put any paint on my palette actually, so I was putting it on as I was going. I haven't got any palette shots, but I'll try and explain what I'm doing the best I can. So what I thought was, I'll use because I was thinking of using the 2-inch brush to do the clouds, and then I thought, I'm a little bit rusty. I'll try the 1-inch brush. So you just pull a load of paint into the 1-inch brush, and then do tiny little circles like this. And looking in your light points, that's what I tend to do. Aim for the light areas, and then that's where I'm going to put the paint in. And I realised I haven't using enough paint. The old Bob Ross saying that they used to say when I was studying the style of painting, they said to me, "No paint, no painting." And it's totally true. If you don't have any paint on your brush, well, not enough, then you're not going to get the effect. It's pretty simple, really. So I loaded my brush with white. It's white and it's got a bit of red in it, not pure white. And just doing little strokes, sort of laying that top part. That's what I'm looking at, the top part of the brush. That's where the shape's going to be created. Create that fluffiness at the top of the cloud. And then, using the clean, dry 2-inch brush, and I was knocking it out a little bit. Beat the devil out of it, as Bob would say. And then using the top corner of the brush, tiny little strokes, just to soften it, soften the cloud. Soften, soften, soften. Makes it all light and soft. And then you lift it up, lifting it up, lift it up. And that gives it sort of that fluffiness. And then I just knock out. You get some streaks, so I just knock them out like that. But it's really light pressure. Don't use too much pressure when you do this, otherwise you'll just pull all the paint up. You don't want to be doing that. There we go. And then I thought to myself, this is working. I'll do another layer. So same again, load the brush, and then little strokes, just tiny little strokes. And create a nice little sky. It looks warm, but we're going to cool this whole thing down. We're going to make this a winter painting. But you get like those warm, sunny days in the winter as well. Well, I say warm. Cold. When the sun's out, it does feel warm. Even when it's a cold wintry day, when the sun comes out, it's like, it's warm on your face. There we go. So try and think about your clouds continuing along the canvas. Don't think, I'll make all my clouds inside the rectangular canvas. You've got to imagine that this is just a scene of what somebody's taking. Even though I'm making this up as I go along, you've got to imagine it's real. You've got to imagine there is a real place here. So I need to make sure this is just a snapshot, and this landscape goes on for miles to the left and to the right. So I'm just giving it a little bit of a fluffing there. I was actually really enjoying doing them clouds. I might do another one where I just do clouds all over. It's so much fun. I think that's why I enjoyed this style of painting. Well, as soon as I learned it, I was like, God, I can do paintings. And me being someone who absolutely loves the idea of me being able to paint, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe my luck when I started doing this style of painting, because I was like, well, I can do it. And there's no reason why you couldn't do this as well. Just learn the techniques and away you go, creating your own paintings. Gives you a lot of confidence, and then when you start doing more traditional methods or different methods of painting, then you've got the confidence that you've done paintings, so you've got no worries. But sometimes it's good to just knock a painting out in half an hour. Makes you feel good, enjoying yourself, not feeling strict about what you're doing, and you're just having fun. And this is what I was doing, just enjoying myself. So I'm using the Bob Ross landscape knife, that is. Used to scare me when I first started. I used to use the detail knife a lot because I used to think, the landscape knife, it's too big. How am I going to be able to make mountain shapes with this thing? Well, you get used to it. I think you can get scared of it, and you don't want to be scared of it. You want the materials, the the knife, the 2-inch brush, the 1-inch brush. You want them to be your friends, really. You want them to be like a warrior with his sword. Become your friend, and you work with them, and they work for you. So I thought what I'd do is I'd create a distant mountain. You notice when you're softening that, when you're pulling it out, you're doing two things. You're removing the excess paint, and you're creating that distance, that depth, that softness at the base of the mountain. And because of the liquid white, when you pull it out, it happens automatically. It's another benefit of the liquid white. So I've got a little roll of paint. You see that? A little roll of paint. You just flatten your paint out and cut across. And then very light pressure, just pull it out. So this mountain is quite flat. It's not like got wiggliness. So I kind of use the knife in that manner, and going in the direction of the mountain helps. But I didn't want to do too much. Like in the distance, I kept it only a little bit of white, but in the foreground, a bit more. I say foreground, I mean at the front of the mountain. And then the other side, I've got a little bit of blue, and I'm using like a mountain mix that I had. I forgot that I had it. It's sort of the mixture that you'll see Bob Ross do on his shows, and I put a little bit of blue in it as well, bit of phthalo blue in my mountain mix, just for so it should all blend together in a way, because the sky's got phthalo blue, so it'd be good to have a bit of phthalo blue in the mountain as well. Helps with it, the distance and everything. Look at all that white that I just blobbed on there. I was having a mini panic when I did that. I was like, oh no, what have I done? I didn't want to do that much. So, whip it off. No problem, you see. There's no mistakes. You can rectify anything. If worst comes to the worst when you're oil painting, get the knife out, whip it all off, start again. And I have done that a few times. So I'm got a paper towel, and I'm knocking all the paint off basically, and then just lifting up, softening this, tapping in the direction of the mountain, softening, smoothing it, giving it depth, just sending it back. We don't want that to be too far forward, so it works quite well. I started using the leg on my easel, started whacking the brush. Enjoying it as well. Thinking to myself, thinking about the rent that I pay. Thinking about the job that I do. I don't really want to do it. I'm a painter, so I can, while I'm doing this, I can take the frustrations out on the easel leg. So I'm really pressing into the canvas when I'm doing this. You can't hurt it, you know, it's canvas, strong. So you're really focusing on that top layer. That top layer, look at me making a mess there. Thinking about that top edge. The top edge. And then scrape away. The reason I scrape off the excess paint is when you pull it out, you haven't got too much paint on there, as you'll see when I do this. You can use the 1-inch brush if you find the 2-inch brush a bit scary. So you just pull it out in the direction you want the mountain to be. Thinking about what side your highlight is, what side your shadow colour is. And then as you can see, it automatically gets lighter at the base. It's a good little trick, really. Saves you that time of mixing paints, it just does it automatic. So I'm softening the base, softening, and then knocking the paint off. Ooh, you can't really see that. There we go. Just pulling that bit out. Zhup. Thinking about highlights, shadows, designing my mountain. In my head, I'm designing it in my head as I'm doing this. And you're not committed yet, really. And you can change it. I was like, oh, I'm going to have to use my left hand to do that bit. It wasn't working quite right with my right. Couldn't really get in there. There we go. Yeah, now I get the white ready again, pull it out flat, cut across, little roll of paint. Once you get used to the knife though, I mean it is fairly simple, really. It's light pressure and the paint on the knife as you're going down very lightly, as you'll see. So you're holding it with between your finger and thumb and just no pressure, just letting the paint pull off. And then you get those little gaps which makes it look a bit mountainy. You turn the knife as you come out as well. See. And I've seen people do this in one stroke and I was like, whoa, that's amazing. Some people have got the skills. Here we go. No pressure. No pressure. I'm sort of thinking mountain. What's this mountain like now? I'll start to try and work it out in my head how it's all working. Thinking about the lights and the darks. Where am I going to put the shadow side to create the look of the mountain? This bit I thought straight away, that's fairly easy. So it's same again, light pressure, just let the paint break. You sort of push into the white a little bit and then pull. This is the bit I was thinking about. I didn't want to mess it up. There we go. And then on to the next bit. Oh, I put in a little bit there. See, push into the white and then just pull out. No pressure. Then you can start making decisions. How do you want your mountain to look? Are you using a photo to do your mountain? Maybe you need to follow that, give you the guideline, or are you making it up like I'm doing here and then just going with it? I didn't feel like you could see the shadow enough, but you can see I've not got continuous pressure there. I've gone so light, I've not even let paint come off. So I thought, right, I'm doing it again. That's better. And I didn't like the angle of that mountain top either. You'll see me correct that. It's funny when you're watching yourself, you're itching to repaint what you've just painted. You're like, oh, I could do that bit better and I could do that bit better. And when you do your painting, you'll be able to do yours a bit better. So I'm loading the brush. Oh, this is where I fix it. I thought, I'll put a bit of white there. That'll give me the shape that I prefer. And then you can start cleaning up these edges. Give them little changes. It looks a bit better. I prefer that now. It's really good fun using the knife actually. I always use a brush. I never really use a knife to paint. So it's fun using that again. Just make sure you flatten your paint out and then just get a little bit. Start enjoying your painting. Having fun. There we go. It's adding a little extra depth in that mountain now. Oh, and you can change it. Bringing it round. And then the other side, we've got a bit of paint this side. See, I didn't want that to be a peak there, I wanted that to be flattish. And I was trying to work out what I wanted to do. Do I want like snowy area? Maybe they would ski down there. I was considering that. Just thought my mic wasn't on then. Quick check. So when you watch Bob Ross do this, you think, whoa, his mountains are amazing. How does he do it? You try to follow along the best you can. He's definitely the master of this. So I'm just tapping there to create some mist. Softening. Light pressure. Really light pressure with that brush. Lifting it up. All creates that sort of mist. The softness. Oh yeah, I moved a blob of paint and it created a streak, so I just had to get rid of that. There was a few times I dropped stuff. So I was like, oh no, my head's going to be in the way of the camera more than I want. That just finishes that off really, that bit there. I started bringing it round. I got to keep telling myself I need to put something in below this. I'm going to have to leave it, but I just keep going. You start enjoying it, get carried away, and really, this is where I need to just stop, and just soften. This is alright, softening. Nice and soft and low at the base. Yeah, ready for the next bit. But you get that nice mistiness. That's a separator. You can see that between the mountain at the back and this mountain, and then the next layer. I'm loading my brush with some phthalo blue and mountain mixture and pulling straight down using the fan brush, number 3 fan, that is, Bob Ross one. They're quite stiff really compared to normal fan brushes. A lot of fan brushes are quite soft, wimpy. This one isn't. It does make it easier. If you're using the Bob Ross equipment, it makes it easier, I gotta admit. So I'm just creating hills and height differences in the trees, because I don't want it to be just a straight line, because that's a bit boring. See? Just pulling straight down. This, I'm doing it quite fast, but that's all you do. You pull the paint straight down. Get all these trees, this huge forest at the base of the mountain in minutes. Can't do that normally. When you're traditionally painting, I can't get that many trees out that quick. I'm there putting them in really slowly. But this way you can just chuck them all in. And always sitting back, having a look at what you've got. See, now you can make it better. Just try not to sit back and knock your camera over. So I put a few detailed trees in, just pull down and then corner of the brush, just tap down. These trees are a bit closer, a bit bigger, so they get a bit more detail. Just adds a little bit of depth into them, into your trees. A few more, just a bit of difference. And now my favourite bit, the favourite bit of the painting. Misting it. Look how quick I'm doing that. So I once entered this competition it was like a talent competition, and I did a painting in 5 minutes, I think it was. About 5 minutes. And And the judges all were like, when they saw the picture, and when they saw me painting that blast as well. But you can do that. It's just a trick, really, isn't it? Just knocking it out. Smashing the brush onto the canvas and creating an effect. So I was just pull down, corner of the brush, really load your brush with paint, and then to coin a phrase, every tree needs a friend. You might have heard that one before. I wonder who says that. Yeah, it works really well, like, to get those trees, corner of the brush. I'm loading. Now, to get the highlight, if you're using, say you've got snow like I've got, if it doesn't stick, then use a little bit of liquid white in your paint. I dipped my brush into liquid white first and then put it straight into the white paint mixture, and then you're fine because it sticks. So a thinner paint sticks to a thicker paint in this method. Otherwise it just all blends together into a mess, and I've done that a few times. So liquid white. You can see my self-portrait behind the painting. It's still drying. Hey, liquid white. Hey. Inspired me to do this when I saw that. I was like, oh, I wonder how much paint I've got left. I've actually got enough for a couple more. Yeah, I dropped my brush a few times in this space of time. There we go. So I've got some liquid white and white paint on, and I'm thinking about the light coming from the coming in. Thinking about where the light's coming from, like on the mountain. You gotta kind of follow the same. I didn't want to put too much light. I noticed I wasn't pressing down very hard as I was coming down to the base. I don't know why. I kind of kept the same pressure, but you're supposed to change it. I just added a bit more dark in there because I started thinking of something else. So I'm thinking about putting some bushes in there. So I just threw in some dark with my fan brush. You could use your 1-inch brush and put the dark in first if you wanted. I just thought, I'll just get some dark in there. But it's good how there's a lot of mist in between the layers though. So I dip my brush into the liquid white, my 1-inch brush. Then I pull in one direction into the white paint mixture, and then you see little bushes appearing on your palette, and then very lightly touch and push, touch and push, touch and push, and you can create that kind of lacy effect. And then you get excited that it's working and you start slopping loads of paints on. Load of paint on. Look at that. Oof. Chucking it on. Like, oh, it's got like a nice texture. Using the knife to scrape out a few sticks and twigs and things, and use the point of the knife. Go into the dark areas, then you can see the sticks and twigs better. And then put in a few little sticks and twigs there. And then use some dark colour, because I was going to put in water here, but I changed my mind. I thought, let's have it snowy. Let's have snow here instead. But that blue works quite well, because it's like a nice cold mist. A nice blue cold mist. I quite like it. So I'm still thinking about distance as well. You see that tree is now pushed further back. I like it. Fan brush. Oh, I decided to soften it a bit with the 1-inch brush. Fan brush at the ready. So I start thinking, oh, what about this side? What can I put this side? Maybe I can have a couple more bushes this side as well. I could have put a big tree in there. But I decided, nah, I'll just do a bush. I wanted to try those bushes out again. Same again, dip in the liquid white and then pull in one direction in the white paint. And then very lightly touch, 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 touch and push. Easy, easy. Thinking about the bushes, thinking about what they're like, and then just putting them in. Then scrape out a few sticks and twigs and things and stuff. Having fun. There we go, there we go. Quite like them actually. It's amazing how effective they are. When I was doing this demonstration in this city, the people that own this art shop, they was watching me and their mouths dropped when I was doing that. And they looked really close. I was like, how the heck did you manage to do that with such big brushes? And I was surprised they were surprised. I just played it cool. I was like, skills. But you could do that. Just using light pressure with a fan brush. Same idea. That makes the paint break. Getting that texture. All that paint on there. See, no paint, no painting. Get the paint out. Make the people that own the paint shops happy. Yeah, and you can make stuff up as you go along like I've done. You can do that. Create mountains, worlds, out of your own head. Oh. I think that was where I knocked the camera over. So I'm just sort of looking at it and thinking, oh, how could there be like extra levels here? So I just wanted little bits of detail, maybe where there's some light hitting or where the snow's a different angle. And to be honest, I was enjoying it. I didn't really want to stop, but you got to stop sometime, don't you? So I was pretty happy with that. And this is my first one that I've done in a while, a long time actually. Not used the liquid white and that method for ages, but it is very effective. And there's a closer look at some of the areas, like the tree and the mountain. And I hope you enjoyed this video. This is to see if I progressed as a painter, really. I wondered if I could still do it. When I saw it, I was like, I wonder if I can do that. And thought I'd give it a go. So thanks so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, remember, click that like button and then I'll know if I need to make some more. So thanks very much for watching this one, and I'll see you at another one. Cheers, bye.